Today on House of Dice, I was joined by Curtis and his Legion of Everblight, and I played Khador. The terrain has 2 stone walls giving cover, 2 dense fog areas granting concealment, a ruined wall, and a tower giving cover. A bush grants concealment, there's a forest, and a hill. We played the scenario, The Pit 2. There's a circular zone in the middle of the table, with 2 rectangular zones on each side. The circle zone can be scored by units, and the rectangular zone can be scored by Warjacks and Warbeasts. Warcasters can score in any of them. There's an objective in each zone. Legion of Everblight is led by Krissa, the Conviction of Everblight. In her battle group is Azrael, Typhon, a Nephilim Bolt Thrower, and a Carnivian. A Shepherd and the Forsaken join them. Leading the forces of Khador is Vladimir Tzepesci, the Dark Champion. His battle group consists of Drago, a Kodiak, and a Juggernaut. He brought a War Dog, a full unit of Man-O-War Demo Corps, a minimum unit of Man-O-War Shock Troopers, and the Great Bears of Gallowswood. Legion won the roll and decides to go first. Khador takes the right side of the table. Krissa deploys to the middle of the table with the Carnivian, the Nephilim Bolt Thrower, and Azrael to her right. The Shepherd, Typhon, and the Forsaken are on her left. Vlad deploys in the middle of the table with Drago, the Juggernaut, and the Great Bears to his right. The Demo Corps, the Kodiak, and the Shock Troopers are to his left. Legion of Everblight, turn 1. Krissa starts the game with 6 Fury. Krissa activates first and spends 2 Fury to cast Cloak of Ash onto Typhon. The Warlock spends 2 Fury to cast Tactical Supremacy onto Azrael. She then advances up to the stone wall. The Forsaken activates next and runs up behind the ruined tower. Typhon roars and is forced to run up with the Forsaken to the tower, generating 1 Fury. The Shepherd runs up with the others. The Carnivian is forced to run up to the other side of the tower. The Nephilim Bolt Thrower is forced to run up to the Carnivian. Azrael activates and is forced to run through the dense fog, generating a Fury. Khador, turn 1. Vlad does not allocate any focus. All the Warjacks gain a focus from power up. The Great Bears of Gallowswood activate and run up behind the bushes. The Man-O-War Shock Troopers activate and advance up to the ruins. They then get a shield wall order. The Man-O-War Demo Corps activates and runs up towards the middle zone. Vlad activates and spends 2 focus to cast Assail on Drago. The Dark Champion spends another 2 focused and casts Hand of Fate on the Demo Corps. Vlad spends 2 more focus to cast Martial Paragon onto himself. He then advances up behind the wall of Demo Corps and camps on 1 focus. The War Dog then advances up behind the wall and gets close to Vlad, giving him Guard Dog. The Juggernaut spends a focus to run past the wall. Drago also spends a focus and runs up, jumping over the wall. The Kodiak activates and spends a focus to run into the forest, and due to Heavy Boiler, it gets a movement bonus. Legion of Everblight, turn 2. Krissa leeches 1 Fury from each of her Warbeasts to go up to 6. She then upkeeps Ashen Veil and Tactical Supremacy. Krissa runs up behind the tower and takes cover. She camps on 4 Fury. Azrael activates and forfeits his movement to aim. He grabs a spear and throws it at the Kodiak in the woods, needing a 4 to hit. Rolling a 6, the spear flies through the air and crashes into the Warjack. It does damage at dice -3. The attack lights the Warjack on fire and he is forced to boost the damage. Rolling a 6, he does 3 damage to column 6 of the Kodiak. Being forced once again, he reloads and grabs another spear. He throws it at the Kodiak, but rolls a 3 and the attack misses. He repositions over and toes the zone. The Nephilim Bolt Thrower forfeits his movement and takes aim. Looking down the sights of his ballista, it fires a bolt at the Kodiak. He needs a 5 to hit, and he is forced to boost the attack. Rolling a 10, the attack hits the Kodiak. The Warjack is pushed back D3 inches due to Thunderbolt, and rolling a 1, it is pushed back 1 inch. The bolt does damage at dice -6. He is forced to boost the attack, and rolling an 11, the attack does 5 damage to column 1. The Forsaken activates next and advances up beside the tower, and uses Consume Fury, removing 2 Fury from the bolt thrower and puts it onto itself. The Carnivean activates and advances up, staying out of charge range of the Kodiak. Typhon activates and advances up. It uses its Blight Breath attack on the Great Bears of Gallowswood. Targeting Yarovich and hitting the other 2 Great Bears, the Blighted Flames spray forth, needing a 9 to hit. Typhon is forced to boost the attack and rolls a 17. The flames surround Yarovich, doing damage at dice -2. Rolling a 9, he takes 7 damage. Rolling for tough, he rolls a 3 and fails his tough roll. Volkov rolls to see if he can escape the flames. Rolling a 9, he is consumed by the flames, and rolling damage at dice -2. It rolls an 11 and the attack kills the Iron Fang warrior. He rolls for tough, but rolls a 2 and also fails. Kolsk is caught in the blighted flames, and rolling an 11, he is scorched by the attack. Rolling for damage, it rolls a 7, doing 5 damage to the warrior, doing just enough to kill him. He rolls for tough, but rolls a 3 and fails his tough roll. The Shepherd activates and advances towards Typhon, and uses Condition to remove 1 Fury from the beast. Khador, turn 2. The Kodiak must check to see if the fire goes out. Rolling a 1, the flames die out. Vlad upkeeps Martial Paragon for free due to his ability, Great Power. He then spends a focus to upkeep Hand of Fate on the Demo Core. All the Warjacks gain a focus due to Power Up, and Vlad gives 2 focus to the Juggernaut. Vlad activates first and uses his feat, Blood Legacy, to give D3 +3 warrior models +3 to Speed, Strength, Mat, Rat, Defense, and Armor for 1 round. Rolling a 2, he targets 4 Mana War Demo Core. He then spends 2 focus to cast a Sail on the Juggernaut. The Dark Champion of Umbre then advances up behind the Demo Core, camping on 2 focus. The Juggernaut activates and charges Typhon. Swinging its Ice Axe, it needs a 6 to hit. It boosts the attack and rolls a 15. The axe bites into the flesh of the Warbeast, doing damage at dice +1. Rolling a 7, it does 8 damage to Spiral 2. The Warjack strikes out at the beast with its fist. Rolling a 6, the attack just makes it. The fist smashes into one of the heads of Typhon, doing damage at dice -3. Rolling a 9, the attack does 6 damage to Spiral 2. The Juggernaut spends a focus to bring its axe crashing into Typhon. Rolling a 6, the axe connects with its target, and rolling for damage, it rolls a 10, doing 11 damage to Spiral 2, taking out its body aspect. Spending its last focus, the Juggernaut winds up for 1 last strike. Rolling a 7, the blade slashes across the beast, and rolling for damage, it rolls a 7, doing 8 damage to Spiral 1, killing the Warbeast. The Mana War Demo Core is given a press forward order. 1 charges the Forsaken, and 2 charge the Carnivean. The rest run up. The Mana War charging the Forsaken needs a 3 to hit, and rolling a 10, the warrior smashes its Ice Maul into the Forsaken, doing damage at dice +1. Rolling a 7, it does 8 damage, killing its target. The Demo Core charging the Carnivean hit on anything but double 1s. The first Mana War smashes his Ice Maul into the beast, rolling a 10. Bones crushing under the weight of the maul, he rolls for damage at dice +1. Rolling a 13, he does 14 damage to Spiral 5, taking out the spirit aspect of the beast. The second warrior raises his maul over his head, and rolling a 9, the maul comes down onto the head of the Carnivean. Rolling for damage, he rolls a 14, doing 15 damage to Spiral 3, leaving the Carnivean on just 1 hit point. Drago runs up into the zone, and the Kodiak advances up and tows both zones. The Mana War Shock Troopers run up into the zone to contest as well. Khador scores 1 control point. Legion of Everblight, turn 3. Krissa leeches 2 Fury from Azrael, bringing her up to 6 Fury. Krissa activates first and uses her feat, Rage of the Dragon. Friendly faction models gain +3 strength and continuous fire on their melee weapons. She then advances into melee range of the 2 Man-O-Wars. Krissa stabs at the giant armored soldier with her spear, needing a 6 to hit. She boosts the attack, and rolling a 6, the spear slashes into the armor, doing damage at dice -3. This also triggers critical sustained attack. Rolling a 9, the spear stabs through the metal, doing 6 damage to the Man-O-War. She lashes out again with her spear, spending a fury to attack again. The attack automatically hits due to sustained attack, and rolling a 9, she stabs the spear into the warrior through the armor and kills him. The warlock buys another attack, thrusting her spear into another Man-O-War. She spends a fury to boost the attack. Rolling a 17, the blade finds its mark, and rolling for damage, she rolls a 2 and the spear slides off the armor, doing no damage. Krissa then spends her last 2 fury to heal the Carnivean, bringing back its body and spirit aspects. The Nephilim Bolt Thrower charges the remaining Demo Corps member. He boosts the attack, needing a 7 to hit. Rolling a 10, the attack connects. He stabs his bow blade into the Man-O-War. It does damage at dice -5. It rolls a 10, doing 5 damage. The Nephilim is forced to attack again, and rolling a 7, the attack just makes it. It rolls for damage, but rolls a 5, doing no damage. Azrael activates next, and forfeits its movement to aim at the Man-O-War Demo Corps. It needs a 9 to hit, and he is forced to boost the attack. He hurls the spear through the air, and rolls a 10. The spear slams into the Khadoran warrior, doing damage at dice +1. Rolling a 7, he does 8 damage, killing the Khadoran. Azrael is forced to reload, and throws a spear into a Man-O-War shock trooper, hitting on anything but double ones. Rolling a 3, the spear flies into the shock trooper, doing damage at dice +2. It is forced to boost the damage. Rolling a 9, the attack does 11 damage, killing the Man-O-War. The Carnivean charges the Man-O-War shock troopers. It gets to make an assault shot. It needs a 6 to hit, but rolls a 4 and the spray attack misses. The attack also hits another shock trooper, and rolling a 7, the Man-O-War is caught in the Dragon's Breath. It is forced to boost the damage at dice -3. Rolling a 12, it does 9 damage and kills the shock trooper. The Carnivean makes its charge attack against the shock trooper, needing a 4 to hit. Rolling a 9, the beast strikes out with its claws, doing damage at dice +2. Rolling an 11, the claws rend through the armor, doing 13 damage, killing the Man-O-War. The Warbeast strikes at the Kodiak with his talons, needing a 4 to hit, but rolls a 3 and the Kodiak avoids the beast. Determined to bring down the Khadoran Heavy, it bites at the Warjack, and rolling a 7, it gnashes its teeth into the Kodiak, doing damage at dice +1 and setting it on fire. Rolling a 7, the bite does 8 damage to column 5, destroying the right arm system. It's forced to bite at the Warjack again, and rolling a 6, it clenches its jaws down onto the Kodiak. Rolling for damage, it rolls a 6, doing 7 damage to column 3. The Carnivean is forced to attack one last time. Rolling a 10, the Warbeast gets the Kodiak in its jaws again, and rolling for damage, it rolls an 8, doing 9 damage to column 4, taking out the cortex of the Warjack. The Blightedness Shepherd attacks the Man-O-War with her crooked staff, and needs an 8 to hit. Rolling an 8, the staff smashes into the armor of the Khadoran, doing damage at dice -7 and lighting him on fire. Rolling an 11, she does 4 damage to the warrior. Khador scores 1 control point. Khador, turn 3. Vlad drops Martial Paragon and Hand of Fate. He upkeeps a sail for free due to great power. The Warjacks power up, and Vlad gives 2 focus to Drago. The Demo Corps activates and receives a press forward order. One Man-O-War charges the Nephilim Bolt Thrower, one remains engaged with the Shepherd, and the last one runs to get behind Krissa. The warrior attacking the Shepherd needs a 6 to hit, but he rolls a 5 and the attack misses. The Man-O-War swings his Ice Maul at the Nephilim, hitting on a 6. The Maul comes crashing down, but he rolls a 4 and the attack misses. The Juggernaut activates and runs up behind the tower. Vlad activates and advances up towards the tower. The Dark Champion spends 2 focus to cast a sail onto Drago. He then camps on 3 focus. The War Dog advances up beside Vlad. Drago activates and charges the Nephilim Bolt Thrower. It swings its Executioner Axe at the Warbeast. but rolls a 2 and the attack misses. Raising its second axe into the air, it rolls a 12, triggering critical amputation. The axe comes down in a wide arc, doing damage at dice +1. Rolling a 5, it does 6 damage to Spiral 1. Critical amputation does 2 more damage to take out the mind aspect. Drago is determined to kill the bolt thrower and spends a focus to attack again. Rolling a 9, the axe slashes into the Nephilim, and rolling an 8 for damage, it does 9 damage to Column 4. Drago sees blood and wants to finish the job. It spends a focus to attack again. Rolling an 8, the axe finds its mark, and he boosts the damage, rolling a 10. It does 11 damage to Spiral 5, killing the Warbeast. Drago goes berserk and attacks the mana war beside him, needing a 3 to hit. Rolling a 12, the axe comes crashing into the unsuspecting Khadoran. Doing damage at dice +1, he rolls a 9, doing 10 damage and killing the soldier. The Kodiak activates and swings his uncrippled left armored fist into the Carnivean, needing a 4 to hit. Rolling an 8, its fist crashes into the Carnivean. It does damage at dice -2, and rolling a 9, it does 7 damage and kills the Carnivean. Krissa reaves 3 fury from the Carnivean. Legion of Everblight, turn 4. Krissa leeches all the fury from Azrael to go up to 6 fury. The Shepherd activates first and strikes at the Manowar, needing a 5 to hit. Rolling a 7, she smashes her staff into the Khadoran warrior, doing damage at dice -7. But she rolls a 2 and the Manowar shrugs off the attack. Azrael activates and charges Drago. It hits on anything but double ones. It rolls a 9 and stabs at the Warjack with his spear. It does damage at dice -1. Rolling a 10, the spear pierces through the armor, doing 9 damage to Column 1 and crippling the left arm. Azrael is forced to attack once again. Rolling another 9, the spear finds its target and stabs into Drago. Rolling an 8, it does 7 damage to Column 2, crippling the movement system. Azrael presses his advantage and strikes again. Rolling a 7, the spear hits Drago. Rolling a 12 for damage, it does 11 damage to Column 2. Azrael sees that the Warjack is almost destroyed and is forced to attack one more time. Rolling a 4, the attack hits. Rolling an 8, he does 7 damage and destroys Drago. Krissa activates and spends 1 focus to cast Quickness, allowing her to move 2 inches forward. Taking a free strike from the Manowar Demo Core, he rolls a 12, triggering critical stationary, freezing her in place. Rolling for damage, he hits at straight dice. But he rolls a 5 and only does 5 damage to the Warcaster. Khador, turn 4. The Kodiak must check to see if the fire goes out, and rolling a 4, it fails. The fire does damage at dice -6, and rolling a 3, it does no damage. The Manowar Demo Core must also check to see if its fire goes out. Rolling a 3, it also fails, and the fire does damage at dice -4. Rolling a 3, the warrior is safe. Vlad does not give out any focus. The Juggernaut gains a focus from Power Up. Vlad activates and charges Krissa. And she is stationary, so the charge automatically hits. He swings his sword to minion, doing damage at dice -2. Rolling a 13, she takes 11 damage. The Warcaster buys another attack, and rolling a 7, he does 5 damage to Krissa, and kills Krissa, the Conviction of Everblight. Khador is victorious.
So for today's game, I was playing Khador, and Curtis here was playing Legion. We actually both played lists that were out of theme and down 1 point, so we played a 49-point game. I actually hadn't played Khador since the middle of Mark II, so I wanted to bring Vlad 2 out for a run and see how it goes. My list mostly consisted of Drago, a couple other Warjacks to support it, but the main piece that I was really wanting to focus on was the Demo Core. Under feet, they get really fast, really strong, and hit just about everything. And actually, to be honest, they didn't do as much work as I had hoped, because the Juggernaut did way more than I had hoped. So Juggernaut took out Typhoon, which I think threw off your plan considerably. Yeah, after
lost everything.
Yeah, so after that, I actually ran out my Demo Core, and they were quite hard to remove. So that worked out, and that was kind of how my list was centered around. The Great Bears were just I had them, fit them in the list. And the Kodiak, unfortunately, didn't get a lot done, though he did do the key thing of finishing off the Carnivian. So that worked out really well. So Curtis, what was the list the idea with your list?
My list was bring pretty models that I own.
Yep, and that worked out really well.
It worked out pretty well, actually.
Yeah, and it was a fun game. Your Azrael did quite a bit of work. He finished off Drago. Typhon, unfortunately, didn't do as well as I think you'd hoped. No. Typhon, we're sorry. But outside of that, what was your main game plan?
I was trying to be able to at least contest both zones and kind of holding back so that I didn't get charged, but Assail kind of said differently, and yeah. Yeah, and
that kind of bit you, right, with the Juggernaut going in, and I think I rolled quite well, so it was a little bit of a skew there, a little bit of luck. But yeah, getting rid of that main piece would have been rough, though I feel like the Demo Corps would have been able to clean up what the Juggernaut didn't do.
Yeah.
But I guess that freed them to go to the other side of the table.
Yeah.
My idea, I wanted to do attrition and just go for the assassination. I wasn't hoping to win on points at all, though I did start getting up on points and I think could have spent a turn or two, but wasn't worth the risk. I was just trying to clear my way to Krissa, and I got insanely lucky with a free strike that led to the stationary.
Yeah.
That is single-handedly what probably won me that game.
Yeah.
Because outside of that, I would have been spending focus to hit her, because she's quite tough to hit, I believe.
She's 14.
Yeah, so Vlad going in, needing 7s to hit, I could count on it, but I would have missed 1 or 2, which would have meant that probably Azrael would not have died, meaning that, Azrael was in Vlad's back arc. Though, alternatively, I wouldn't have charged in and done that risky thing if the game was that close in my grasp. I was up quite a bit on the peace trade, having pretty much 2 of my jacks left. But yeah, was there any point in the game that you think you could have done things differently to...
If I would have known that your jack could get up that quick, I wasn't counting on the Juggernaut being able to kill Titus in 1 turn.
Yep.
But yeah, I think otherwise it was a pretty good game. We were pretty equal.
Yep. It's going very good. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you like what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. And if you'd like to support the channel, be sure to check out our Patreon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.